One of the questions I get at my events is, what are these segmented interest rates? And why is my pension going down, or why is it going up? Well, this year there's a hard deadline, March 1st, 2019. If you're looking to retire, we need to have your package order. We need to get all the information in before the deadline, March 1st, because segmented interest rates have gone up. And again, just to kind of recap, if segmented rates go up, it's going to drive your lump sum pension down. But if rates go down, it drives your lump sum pension up. So if we take a look all the way back to 2016, there's really three segmented interest rates. And segmented interest rates came back out in 2006 under the Pension Protection Act. And basically what ended up happening, they recalculated in which they calculated lump sum pensions, and there's three rates. The first segmented rate deals with the first 5 years you're with the company. The second is years 6 through 15. And the third segmented rate is years 16 plus. So if you've been at a company 30, 35 years, regardless of the company, the longer you're at a company, you can see up here, the third segmented rate's always the highest rate. The higher the rate, the less you get. The lower the rate, the more you make when it comes to your lump sum pension. So quick little exercise, we take a look at these segmented rates. You know, if you work at Honda, AT&T, they happen to use the November segmented rates, which come out in December during winter shutdown. And these rates, again, if you work at Honda, are good through March 1st, okay? Through March 1st the following year, okay? And these rates are published, and the rate in 2016 was 1.76. The second segmented rate was 4.15, and the third is 5.13. And we keep it real simple, folks. It's kind of like a light switch. I use the analogy all the time where, if I turn the light switch on, what happens? The lights come on. If I turn it off, I turn it off. We're comparing rates from one year to the next. There's nothing you can do. Obviously, interest rates play a factor in it. There's other factors that go into segmented interest rates. I'm not going to get into the weeds with you on it. But again, once these rates are published, if the rates are higher, what's happening? It's driving your lump sum pension down. Or again, if rates go down, then it drives your lump sum pension up. So is 179 higher than 1.76? Yeah, it is, but I call that even Steven, because again, that's not that big of a difference. 3.80 to 415, that's a big decrease. And then 471 to 513, that's another decrease. So when we look at this back in 2017, the average associate made about 5% positive in their lump sum pension. And let's say that your lump sum pension was $500,000. We always use that as an example. You know, if you made 5%, you made an additional $25,000 in your lump sum pension just because rates did what, folks? They went down. So let's take a look at 2020. The rates came out, or 2018, 2.20. Well, that's a huge increase compared to 179. But again, that's only 5 years of your pension calculation. So if you have a 30, 35 year career at a company, it's not going to amount to hill of beans. That's what I always like to tell people. So 3.57 versus 3.80, that's a big decrease. And then 4.24 versus 471, another big decrease. So overall, you know, the average associate made about 5.5% in their lump sum pension. So let's just say 5%, and again, you made another $25,000. Okay, and that's been great over the last couple years, back in 17 and 18. But we're seeing what happened to rates. We've been educating people since October, November. We get the feed from the IRS every month on these segmented interest rates, and we knew the rates were going to increase. And these are the ones that came out during winter shutdown. And again, these are good. These basically start on March 2nd, you know, from that standpoint. So again, the last day you can work would be March 1st. That could be your benefit commencement date and your date of termination. Those two dates have to match if it's March 1st. So you're not affected by this rate increase, and that's extremely important. So the new rates that came out, 3.43 versus 2.20, that's a huge increase. 4.46 versus 3.57, another huge increase. And then 4.88 versus 4.24, another big increase. We know that the average associate lost between 9 to 10% on their lump sum pension. So if you got a $500,000 pension and you basically lost 10%, you basically lost $50,000. The average associate, we're seeing about 40 to 50, middle management 60 to 70, and executives that we work with, presidents at the highest division are losing, $100,000, $150,000 of their lump sum pension. Again, if you're looking at retirement, you need to understand how these segmented rates impact you. And again, you never want to get in a situation. I had someone years ago retire with me from AT&T, and she made no more than $55,000 back in 2014, and she ended up losing $65,000 in her lump sum pension that year. So again, we don't want this to happen where you go back to the company and you work for FREE, free. Or, Mike, I make $100,000 and I'm going to lose 70. So you go back to work and you end up making $30,000 that year. Granted, the company's still paying you $100,000, but the issue that you run into is obviously they're taking it away on the pension. Again, who gets to keep that money? The company gets to keep that inside their pension plan. If segmented rates go up, you're losing money. The lower the rate, the more you make. So again, you need to understand this. Again, March 1st is the deadline this year. If you're looking at retirement, March 1st is the absolute deadline for you to look at retirement. And again, if you have questions, Mike, I'm not really sure what my numbers are. A lot of people come into our office with those questions. We can go on to Mercer's system, pull up your calculation right away. If you just have your username and password, we can access that information and get you a packet before that deadline. Again, if you want to learn more, give our office a call. And if you want to learn more, get our book at Amazon on Retire from Honda Financially Free, or go to retirefromhonda.com.